guys, here I am again, still in my bedroom. I'm gonna try and pull up the chat on my laptop here so that I can not miss as much as usual. Uh, Apologize for the hair day. If you saw the absolutely epic bedhead I had this morning, you would understand why it looks like this. It was a real labor to get it to. Anyway, recovery struggles, not being able to get a haircut. So, I think I was delusional when I made my plans for this knee replacement. Um, for some reason, I was under the impression that within like a month, I would be back to doing what I normally do, which is absolutely ridiculous. Turns out it's more like 6 months to a year. So I've had to revise a lot of plans. The hope is that within a couple of weeks, I will at least be able to be getting down to the fish room, but I think it's going to probably be end of summer before I can really do a whole lot other than look and point and direct. Luckily for me, my family is doing an excellent job taking care of things. Hi from Germany. Actually, what's it? My daughter may do a German exchange program. I think I'm going to take on an exchange student this fall, which I thought would be fun. Oh, and from Finland. Very cool. I'm doing really well. I'm about 6 weeks ahead of the schedule that the doctor had set for me, but I'm about 2 weeks behind the schedule I had set for me. So again, I think I was a bit delusional as far as how I thought this was gonna go. My knee was really complicated as well. There was some things that they weren't expecting to have to do, which means that it's gonna take even longer. Hey, Richie. Haven't seen you in a long time. I have to make it to another NEC one of these days. Um, but I am. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I am wobbling out to the greenhouse here and there. I hope to get some help from my family this weekend and be able to shoot some updates on some of the gardens and maybe the greenhouse. Hey, Gary. Um, but I guess it sort of is what it is, and I can only do what I can do. Um, and that's sort of the bottom line. Um, the YouTube algorithm is really punishing me for not doing Thursday videos. So I'm gonna try and get back to 3 a week. It's kind of hard. I have plenty to say, but getting the actual footage for you guys is a bit trickier. So right now, my husband works in the power plant industry, and right now they're in outage, which means everyone basically works all the time. But that should end this week. So once he is not working like all the time, I'm hoping to be able to get him to help me a little bit more. I had some ideas for some videos that he could do too that I think you guys would really enjoy. Um, but I still haven't. I've made it down to the fish room one time, but the steps going down there are really narrow, and there's not a handrail, so it's a bit precarious. So I'm not really pushing it to get down there. Um, I again, I can only do what I can do. So it is what it is. See ya, Richie. Um, I don't think anyone is more impatient than I am to sort of get back to doing the things that I have planned. I'm not very good at sitting around. I'm not very good at being a patient. It is a bacon tattoo um, with grease spatters. So it's a ridiculous tattoo. I have a lot of ridiculous tattoos, but they make me smile. I mean, I can physically get down to the fish room, but then again, like I went down there a couple days ago, and I was just so frustrated that I saw things I wanted to do and couldn't do it. It's almost more torturous to get down there than than not being down there. It's sort of like this vicious catch 22 where I want to be down there so bad, and I miss my fish and I want to see them, but I get down there and then I'm like frustrated that I can't do anything. Although I will say my recliner is super comfortable, so I'm tempted to get down there just to spend time in the recliner. Um, and yeah, I see people commenting on Joey's video. That was really, really sweet of him. He hit me up and offered, like, way before my surgery to do a video for me. And, I have a feeling that a lot of people try and take advantage of Joey and his popularity and reach. And I didn't want to ask him for anything, but him hitting me up and asking me if he could do that for me was really nice, and it just shows you what a good friend he is to me. Um, he did a killer job, and I really hope he does a lot more of those style videos because I thought it was super great. His editing is top notch. I loved the way he laid it all out. And, the Waru are just such a cool fish. They're one I've always wanted and just haven't kept yet. So I was super stoked that he did that video for me. So it was really great, and just the fact that he wanted to do it for me was so awesome. I don't need a scooter to roll around the house. I'm walking. I have uh, I'm to a cane now. My cane has fish scales on it. My husband picked this up for me. I had a walker for the first couple weeks, which I absolutely hated because I felt like a little old lady. And, I'm not even 40, so to be having a knee replacement this early is sort of weird. And to have to use a walker is kind of a blow to the old ego, but it really was necessary. But I graduated to my cane this past week, and I'm getting around a lot better. I can actually drive again. Hey, Justin. I can drive again, but not if I'm on pain medication. And I know everyone's like, don't take pain pills, but when you're recovering from a major bone surgery, if you don't manage your pain, you don't make any progress. And what's most important to me right now is that I make consistent progress. So I do have to manage my pain. Now it's key to not stay on them for long, and it's key to not take too many, and it's key to only take it when I need it. But the reality is without, I mean, pain medication is made to manage situations like this. I started out with home health care, so I had nurses, occupational therapists, and physical therapists coming into the house 3 times a week each. I graduated this week to outpatient physical therapy. So I started using various leg presses and weight machines and things like that yesterday. Yesterday I way overdid it, which is had planned to shoot an update video for you guys today, but yesterday I had PT and I went right from PT to taking my daughter to get her haircut, because she has her 8th grade recognition night tonight, which is like the big assembly where they give out all the awards and then they have their dance, and it's the last dance of her middle school career. And as I said, my husband's been working a ton, so I had to get her for a haircut. And then after her haircut, she had a softball game. So I was just on my feet for hours and hours yesterday. So today I'm just not really moving. Can I buy your cane one better? It actually is from CVS. It was like $20. It's not like outrageous, special, or rare. He just saw it there and picked it up for me. I have another one that I use that's like a wooden one, that my friend Sheila got for me. And then I have another one that I use that was my grandfather's that I love. Um, but that one the tip broke off of. And since I'm not super steady on my feet yet, trying to be careful. But as far as I know, all the fish are doing really well. My husband has taken some pictures and shown them to me. And like I said, I got down there briefly and everything looked really good. The baby plecos have gotten so big. In the super reds, they're like an inch and a half, those baby plecos, which I was most worried about my fry tanks. Just because raising fry isn't always the easiest, but luckily it's, Shelly fry and Ancestral fry, both of which are really sturdy. So my husband's been feeding the tanks with fry every day and then feeding the rest of the aquariums every other day. And then that way there's not a lot of like accumulated mess, and he's doing water changes here and there, doing, what's needed for it. And then keeping an eye on my greenhouse, topping off the bins. I have the seedlings that I started of the various carnivorous plants, as well as a bunch of herbs I started that he's doing. And he's keeping an eye on my bog gardens. So, he's, with the amount he's been working, which is like 84 hours a week, he's really doing a great job managing all my garbage as well. So, you know, as far as that goes. As far as I know, there's no disasters. We'll have to see when I actually start getting down there more, but I'm pretty sure, you know, everything's going fine. My bins are all green water. Too much sun? Yeah, probably just a sun thing. But the reality is green water is not at all harmful. In fact, it's just free fry food. Thank you for the super chat, Honeybee. Hi, daughter Emily. How old's your daughter? That's cool. That I love hearing that kids like to watch stuff like this. I know that in my kids' schools, they show some of my videos in some of their biology classes, which is cool. So it's always exciting to me when younger people are inspired to keep fish and do well. 12, that's awesome. Got any news on the aquascapers I'm inviting to escape some of my tanks? No, because I don't know what to expect with this recovery. And in order for me to film stuff like that, I have to be able to carry a tripod and set up lights and help with, collecting hardscape and, be able to get in plants and fish. And I can't carry anything at all right now. I mean, I'm lucky if I can carry my freaking water and my ice pack to bed to be able to take care of myself during the day. I can't really do anything right now. So, we'll have to see. I'm going to Toronto in a couple weeks to speak at the Peel Regional Aquarium Club. They still have a few tickets left for that. If anyone's interested, more information can be found on my events page on my website. And I'm hoping when I get back from that trip that I'll be in a lot better shape. I'm also hoping to hit Reefapalooza in a month to go see Joey talk and hang out with him. Oh, 40 weeks pregnant. You have my sympathy. Being pregnant is miserable, especially hugely pregnant. So we'll just have to take things as they come, and as I get better, I can start to schedule things and do things. If you watch some of my recent videos, I took down like 30 tanks, and I really like how open the fish room is now. But I'm gonna have to get rid of a bunch of fish in order to empty the tanks that I want to make displays. So, it'll all happen. It's just a matter of time. Do I have fish tattoos? Yeah, I have a lot of fish tattoos. Quite a few. Waiting for my version of the video for Joey. I'm waiting for him to tell me what he wants, but more importantly, again, I have to be able to shoot footage. So I could do a talkie video for him, but I'm sure that, especially for his channel, he's really going to want some good fish footage. So I'd rather really do my video for him justice when I'm a little bit more well and can get some really great footage for them. Thank you, Doc, for the super chat. Why does my bristlenose pleco chase my cories? Chases the tetras. Are you sure it's a bristlenose? Does it have adequate hiding spots, and is it getting fed enough? They're generally relatively docile. So I don't know why it would be doing that unless there's something off in the setup for it. Your Soelias won't even try Soylent Green. That is peculiar. But Daphne is fine too. You figure in the wild, Soelias are off-flux grazers. So they eat the algae, but they also eat the microcrustaceans that get caught in it. And depending on where they're from, they may be eating way more microcrustaceans than actual algae. Joey's the bomb. Yes, he is. I was really, really stoked with the video he did for me. The baby yeah, the baby bikers are doing great. I'd also really like to get down there to shoot an update video for them, because I noticed when I was down there briefly the other day that they have gotten really big. And not only that, but they are attacking pellets. So it's a fun video. Maybe we'll do a baby biker mukbang video or something ridiculous like that. But yeah, I do need to do an update on those guys, because it's been quite a while now since I even really showed them, other than briefly. And they're doing really awesome, luckily. But I mean, those fish are like bomb proof. You give them clean water and food, and no, it's not vodka. It's water. Hey George. Um, yeah, sorry to hear about your betta bob. Um, I rarely have pet sitters feed my fish when traveling. I much prefer for them to just make sure everything's going okay. It's so easy for folks who aren't fish keepers to overfeed that I think the risks of that way outweigh the dangers of them not being fed, especially if it's only for a week or less. Now, if you're going to be gone for more than like 2 weeks, you definitely want someone to be able to feed them. But if it's under that, it's not really that big of a deal. Thank you, George and Daryl. Daryl, I am doing better. Um, I'm just impatient, and I really hope to be working on my book right now. But there's a lot of things about something like a knee replacement that you don't realize before you're actually going through the recovery. For instance, I can't tolerate anything touching that leg, so I can't have my laptop in my lap, and I can't have a notebook on my lap. And my husband bought me this cool little, like, bed tray thing, but I have to keep my leg elevated because I'm having some complications. So the desk won't fit across my lap. So I'm like, I had all these plans to do all these things, but I just have to kind of hurry up and wait. Thank you, Rico. Nice to see you here too. Um, there's a whole lot of hurry up and wait right now. I have a feeling though that as things improve, what I'm able to do is going to be dramatically increased week from week. It's just hard to be patient. I am, I have a lot of virtues. Patience is not one of them. So being a patient and being patient is just brutal. Can I work on the book on a tablet? I probably could, but I don't have a tablet. I have a laptop, so the Bog Garden is doing killer. I looked at it. Maybe it was yesterday, I think, and there's tons of new growth. I'm having some unexpected issues out there, and I'm going to address that in a video next week for you guys. Um, there's been some surprises, but all in all, my live sphagnum moss has taken over, so the surface integrity is a lot better. A lot of the plants are growing really, really well, and the sundews are getting huge. But I look forward to sharing sort of the WTF moment I had out there as well. So look forward to that probably next week. I'm doing a poll on both my community tab as well as on my Instagram about which garden, the bog or the succulent, you guys would like to see an update on first. And what's interesting is on Instagram, everybody wants to see the succulent garden, but on the community tab, everyone wants to see the bog garden. So I'm going to have to like average out the results and figure out which one won. Um, but for right now, it's very different depending on where you look. It's kind of funny. Someone asked how to remove tannins. You can run chemical filtration, things like carbon or polyfilter, or Purigen, in order to remove discoloration of the water. But the tannins are not at all harmful, and in fact, a lot of fish really appreciate them. So it's not necessary to remove them unless you don't like that tea-colored water. I personally really like it. So I intentionally add leaves and things to my aquariums in order to get tannins, but I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, pun intended. Um, so, yeah. Oh, I'm glad to hear I've inspired you to do the carnivorous plants. They're very rewarding. Any advice on getting rid of hair algae in a tank? Well, you should figure out why you're getting hair algae, but in the meantime, Amano shrimp are really good at eating it. When will I be able to walk? I can walk now. It's just not very graceful. Um, I walk every hour. I do exercises about 5 times a day. But again, it's not very graceful, and I can't carry anything, so I just sort of like hobble a little loop around my house, or I go out to my deck and stare forlornly at the greenhouse. Um, but, so I've been walking since the day they operated, actually. They have you up and walking that night because one of the biggest risks with a knee replacement is blood clots, and blood clots can be fatal. I actually had to sleep, or for 2 weeks after surgery, I had to wear compression devices on my legs that would pump air and compress them to prevent blood clots. Super exciting and very glamorous. Um, but I'm mostly past that risk now, I believe. Recently heard of using hydrogen peroxide to spot treat algae. That works pretty well on hair algae. I do recommend, if you're going to do that, to put it in a syringe, drop the water level below the algae, treat the algae, and then refill the aquarium. While hydrogen peroxide's not super dangerous, if you overdose it, it can cause problems with fish. But it does work quite well for treating algae. And in fact, if you treat things like Cladophora algae with that, or even black brush algae, it'll turn like an orange color, and that's how you know it's dead. And then nearite snails will be able to eat it at that point. Thank you for the super chat, Danny. I am on the mend, just slow. How bad was the pain after surgery? It was real bad. I was in the hospital for 3 days, and I had a really terrible overnight nurse that was like, I think because of my tattoos, was like lecturing me like I'm an addict, about needing pain management. And she was withholding my meds, so my pain was escalating well out of control. It was about double what they like it to be. And then during the day nurse would have to get my caseworker involved, and they had to give me injectable meds in order to get my pain back down to a level that the oral meds could work. So it was kind of a nightmare. You don't think that that sort of bias still exists until you go through something like that. And I really just can't imagine why she would have done that to me. And I did file a complaint. I filed a complaint with my caseworker. I filed a complaint with the hospital, and I filed a complaint with my surgeon. So it's being addressed, but it was real bad. It set me back like a week in my pain management. So you know, it is what it is. But it was 12 hours post-op, and she was lecturing me on becoming addicted to pain pills that were prescribed to me, um, which is just absolutely mind-blowing to me. I mean, they did a spinal and a nerve block in my leg, and that I personally metabolize pain pills and anesthesia extremely quickly. So normally the nerves block lasts, anywhere from 18 to 24 hours, and mine lasted about 8. So within 8 hours, so that first night, like, my pain was really high, and the doctor specifically had doubled my meds in order for me to get a handle on it, and then she was withholding them, so it was super counterintuitive. Vex says, I hear you. I'm judged as well, and I've never had pain meds for 12 years of horrible chronic pain. I never took pain meds either for my knee leading up to surgery. So, I mean, there was really no reason that she should have worried that I was going to abuse pain medication other than judging me based on my appearance, which pisses me off. So, but again, it is what it is. And the home healthcare people were really awesome. The caseworker was really awesome. My surgeon's incredible. And they really helped me get it back under control. Because, you can't, it's extremely difficult to work on range of motion, or even to do tasks like, getting up to go to the bathroom or whatever, if your pain is so hard you can't see past it. So it's absolutely imperative that you manage your pain. I took a course before I had this surgery on joint replacement, so I would know what to expect, and sort of know what to expect from surgery, from my hospital stay, and when I got home. And one of the things that they really, really pushed hard was to take your pain pills that first month, because otherwise you can't get better. You can't work on your range of motion. You know, your mental state's very poor. So the fact that she was limiting me in those first couple days is absolutely ridiculous. But again, it is what it is. So onward and upward now. I appreciate all of you guys. Oh, someone had their toe amputated. My husband had a toe amputated as well. That's not much fun. He lost his big toe. Um, you know, and I do appreciate the fact that everyone's very concerned about opioid addiction, and I do know that it's a huge problem. It's a very big problem in this area. But there's a big difference between taking medication prescribed by a doctor after a bone surgery and like pulling a muscle and asking for pain pills, you know? So, you know, as much as it's important to talk about opioid addiction, it's also important to remember not everyone is an opioid addict or will become one for following the doctor's instructions. Hey, Bob, let's run a marathon. It's going to be a while till I'm marathon ready. Um, you know, quite a while. In fact, you know, a bear would probably have to be chasing me for me to want to run a marathon. Um, if we're being honest, I'm not a runner. Well, you know, who knows? I haven't not had knee pain since I was 17 years old. Maybe I will run a marathon. But I sincerely doubt it. Running is not really my thing. Although I can't wait to go hiking, and I can't wait to be able to go back tide pooling and not have to worry about falling. Um, oh, someone else had a knee replacement. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, my knee was pretty complicated. Apparently, there was a hole in my tibia that they didn't know about, so I had to have posts placed down into my bones, and they had to remove a bit more of the actual ends of the bones than they were anticipating because of how severe the arthritic damage was. And then I've had a lot of surgeries on this knee, and there was some old screws that were placed to hold various other parts that I had done to my knee, and they had to peel off my hamstring in order to get to that screw to remove it. So there were some things that were way more complicated than the average replacement. So I think it's pretty miraculous that 3 weeks post-op, I'm getting around as well as I am and managing as well as I am. Hi, Brogan. 5 years old. That's awesome. Um, but you know, my knee was bone on bone for probably 10 to 15 years. So the recovery time, I don't know. It's supposedly 6 months to a year until you're like good as new. Um, I think it's very variable um, as far as getting back to like normal duty. You know, I had this like idea that within 2 weeks I would be able to get out to the greenhouse and film, which I'm realizing was absolutely ridiculous. I'm hoping by next week to be able to get out to the greenhouse to film for you guys, which will be a month post-op. I'm hoping by the end of the summer to be able to like really be doing everything down there by myself. But you know, we'll just have to see. I'm using a sparkly fish scale cane. No crutches or walker at this point. I started on a walker. Um, but you know, the biggest thing is like, you know, I haven't had an income now since December, not selling fish since December, so we're already at 6 months without a paycheck. You know, you know, my channel's growing on YouTube, but it still doesn't pay really. And from doing only 2 videos a week, I've fallen off the YouTube algorithm, which means I am not getting rewarded by YouTube nearly as much. So my views are down, and that's just from missing my Thursday videos. I mean, it's kind of incredible how quickly you can get punished within the algorithm. So, you know, it's awesome that everyone's telling me not to worry about videos and that you'll be there for me. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. But the reality is I'm watching like my stats plummet, my income plummet, and YouTube is what's gonna keep me able to continue to pay the bills for the fish room, the energy bill, the food bills, all that kinds of stuff. So I've got to play the game. MLML, thank you for the super chat. Welcome to the best hobby ever. 6 already. That's awesome. 125. That is. Oh wait, did you say it says your name's Mark? 125 is an awesome tank. Good for you for jumping in and really getting your feet wet. Full year to feel totally normal. Yeah, that's what I figured. How do you know if they're getting enough to eat? Zebra neorites. They should be plenty active and they should be pooping up a storm. Otherwise, it's really difficult to tell with snails. I generally tell people don't keep more than 1 per 5 gallon of tank space. And if your tank is mature, you know, been running for like 3 to 6 months or more, generally they'll be able to graze on enough biofilm that light supplementation will be good for keeping them well fed. Is it possible to get temporary Social Security disability? Not really when you work for yourself. And for most of my life, I've had my own business. I've been in business selling fish, I think for 12 years now. So I'm not really paying into Social Security for that. So it is what it is. I am sure I will scream from the rafters when I'm ready to start seeing customers again. You know, but again, like, I've got to be able to get down to the fish room first, which seems obvious, but then I've got to be able to like stand and net and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a little bit. I think that'll come back sooner than anything else. And I'll certainly be able to sell fish in person, but I can't get in fish right now because I can't carry boxes, so I can't get the fish to the basement. My family is doing quite well with the care of my fish and stuff. I think they're struggling more with the care of themselves. I'm very much the person that takes care of everybody. You know, I clean the house, I run the errands, I cook the food. I take the kids to other extracurriculars. You know, I make my husband a hot lunch every day. I do all that kind of stuff. And with me down for the count, it means all of those guys, I mean, my family has had to do all of those things. And it's not particularly easy for them. They're doing a great job. My daughters have stepped up and they've been taking turns cooking dinner each night. My husband's really been busting it to be able to get the kids from their things. I've had some local people helping me get them to their things. And I started driving this week, so that's going to help. But we don't have any family, and we don't really have many local friends, so it's been a real challenge to keep the day-to-day things going well. And I tell you, I spend all my time alone. And when I'm busy and like working in the fish room and answering emails and shooting video and editing video and all that stuff, I stay busy and it doesn't bother me. But now I'm like bored and lonely. Someone asked if it helps my income if you watch all my videos. Yeah, I believe so. You know, sure. You know, my income is my problem, but it's just disappointing. You know, I spent a lot of time getting videos prepped for after surgery, and but 2 a week I thought was plenty, and to see the drop off from YouTube despite continuing that is really just disappointing. It's disappointing to see me getting penalized despite continuing to put out regular content. I haven't missed a video. So, you know, I guess that's just how it rolls. Thank you for the super chat, Hill Blue. And get on here live more. Yeah, you know, I was just worried that you guys would be bored just sitting and talking to me in my bed. Yeah, like, uh, yeah, you know, I could still answer questions and stuff, but it's always fun for me to be able to show the fish. So how am I penalized? I don't understand. Well, YouTube's algorithm rewards you when you put out regular content. So they show if you're doing well in the algorithm, it recommends your videos a lot more. You'll show up in the recommended tab, the home tab, at the end of other creators' videos. And when they stop rewarding you, you don't get recommended. And only like 45% of the people that watch my videos are actually subscribers. So I'm losing, potentially up to half of my viewership from them not putting me in the recommended because of me falling off the algorithm. So, and I really, in my heart of hearts, thought that doing 2 videos a week would keep me in their good graces, but you know, it is what it is. It's sometimes difficult to get back into the good graces, so I'm working on that. This is my second week in a row doing 3 videos a week, so we'll do what we can. I may just have to do shorter videos. I don't know. My Betta's doing great. Sid is doing awesome. His tank looks like a jungle. I really need to get in there and prune it up a bit. But how do I feel about a GoFundMe? I don't think it's necessary. I mean, my bills are being paid. It's just we generally rely on my income for everything else, and I don't have one right now. Do I have a PayPal? Yeah, this makes me uncomfortable, but there is, on all my videos, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link, which is to my website that has a donation button, and a lot of you have been really generous there. But I don't want to do a GoFundMe, like, I'm not at risk of losing my house or, not being able to feed my children or anything like that. It's just frustrating. My Oscar, he's doing great. Captain Cranky Pants is surly as ever. Some people keep saying Patreon, but with Patreon, I'd still have to be able to produce content. So, you know, it is what it is. Um, well, things will be fine. It'll pick back up. When all you're doing is sitting around and thinking, it's very easy to go down little rabbit holes in your brain, and get focused on stupid things like the YouTube algorithm. Do I have any fish in my room? No. My husband doesn't like the sound. We used to have fish tanks in here, but we don't anymore. Do I binge watch Netflix? I do. Oh, thank you, Mark and Mad Fish Diva. I appreciate that. I actually have a coloring book, but I can't find any crayons, and I keep forgetting to ask my kids to bring me down like crayons or colored pencils. My friend Sheila brought me a coloring book of curse words that's really hilarious. But I need to get something to color it with. So, do a feature on each of my books. I could. What's the most profitable fish you can breed and sell to make a profit? I don't think there's a really good answer to that. There's a lot of factors, how much work goes into breeding them, how long the fry take to rise up or raise up, how much the market demands them. So, shrimp are probably the most profitable pound for pound. What are my favorite nereids? The little horn nereids, the Clithon corona, the black and yellow bumblebees. Anyone check the P.O. box? Not this week. I felt really bad asking my husband to do anything extra because he's been killing it. Maybe I'll try and run down there tomorrow, and see if there's anything in it. I got like a big pile of get well cards. Like I think it was last week. Thank you, Sandra. And they're actually I have my laptop on my little desk next to me. All those get well cards are here on my little desk. So but I haven't, I mean, I figured no one should be sending live things to the PO box, so it's not really time critical to get there. Thank you, Insightful One Fish Keeping. I will start doing a weekly live video again. I actually want to do another one with my husband because I figured he could give you more information on how the fish room's doing than I can since I haven't really been down there. Plus, you guys seem to really enjoy the last live stream I did with him. He's got a pretty good sense of humor. A little dark, but I do have a chair. like a swivel chair on the back deck. I spend a lot of time sitting outside, but you know, again, I'm supposed to be keeping my leg elevated as much as possible. So, oh, thank you again, man. You guys are killing it with the super chats. That's really amazing. So again, his like massive overtime will be done hopefully tomorrow. So maybe next week we can do a live stream with him. It'd have to be a nighttime live stream. I'm Eastern Standard Time because I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm thinking maybe like 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. When do I have to start physio? I started physio the day after I got out of the hospital. So I've been doing physio for 2.5 weeks already. I started outpatient physical therapy on Monday. Yesterday, I started using the weight machines and stuff like that. Thought I was going to die, but it actually, oh man, she stretched from them peeling off my hamstring. The back of my thigh has been so freaking sore. It's ridiculous. And she did some stretch yesterday that got rid of the knots that were in there. And I'm like a new woman today. I feel so much better. It was like magic. I was hobbling out of the PT and I was like, ooh, that persistent pain is gone. Thank you, Marianne and Nancy. Physical terrorist. My mom was a physical therapist. So, like, I take my PT super seriously. Oh, thank you, Ratsoi. Suoi? Maybe I said that right. Um, but it really does make all the difference in your recovery. And I have a packet, I think I moved them for this live stream, of like 15 pages of exercises that I have to do a minimum of 3 times a day. But I do it basically every time I get up, which is every hour. I do at least some of the exercises. Thank you, Zoe. Physio is free. Well, it's not free. So the way my health insurance works is we have a 3,000 per person out of pocket deductible that we meet, and then it pays 80% until we reach a $6,000 out of pocket deductible. And after we've paid out $6,000, everything is free. So I mean, my anesthesia alone for my surgery was probably more than that. Thank you, Katie. You know, so we paid 6 grand out of pocket. And now, like, all the meds, the physical therapy, the doctor's appointments, all of that stuff will be free. Thank you, Adam. $6,000 is a lot of money, though. I don't know about you guys, but like, we don't even have a savings account. So, like, to come up with 6 grand to pay is not always the easiest. We had to do it last year, too, and my husband had to have his eye removed. You know, the good news is that if we have to have anything else done for anyone in the family, it's going to be free for the whole rest of the year. So yay for that. That was a lot of fish selling. I'm actually thinking about, I like my piercings. I just can't find them. I had to take them out for surgery and I don't know where I put them. So they'll be coming back. Sorry if you like it better. I personally like my nose ring. But I can't find it, and I'm not really in a searching capability right now. Yeah, welcome to America. It's just the one knee that's infected, or was affected, whatever. Just the one knee. It's from an old sports injury that we've just been unable to fix until now. I can say that, like, I've had headaches basically every day of my adult life from pain, and upon waking up from surgery, it was the first time I haven't had a headache, and I haven't had a headache since. So I can already see that difference as far as, you know, immediate improvement. You know, and I know that, like, there's a difference in this pain. Like, this pain I know is going to go away. Thank you, Adam. I know that this pain is going to go away, so it's temporary, so it's easier to deal with than the chronic pain I was dealing with before. Something that's kind of weird, though, that you don't realize before you have a surgery like this is, like, you can hear my knee bending now. It makes like a clunk, clunk, clunk noise, which is kind of, it's going to take some getting used to. Thank you, Tanya. How did Abby do in her last dive meet? She made it. So the way it works with USA Diving is, oh, thank you, Q Aquatics. The way it works is they break it up, ow, into regions. So I think there's 6 regions, and so we're region 2. So she went to region 2. Oh, my brain, championships, and she medaled there. So from here she moved on to what's called zones, and zones is where they combine various regions. And if you place again in the top, I think it's 12 or 15 there, then you move on to nationals. So end of June she has the next round of competition. So she did really well. The 3 meter she didn't medal on, but to be honest, the poor kid only gets to practice 3 meter once a week. We have to drive almost 2 hours each way for her to even have access to a 3 meter board. And she was in the top half, so I was super super proud of her. Someone asked about Oko Stone. Have I used it? Yeah, I've used it a ton. How much it changes pH depends on the volume of the aquarium. Um, if it's a small aquarium, you're going to see a bigger fluctuation than you are if it's a large aquarium. Hi, Jose. Yeah, I often tell people if I think it's just not reasonable to buy something from me, I'll try and recommend someone in your area or another retailer that's closer to you. I mean, I really think it's best for the hobby if we don't take advantage of people within the hobby. And I get real bad juju from a lot of people that push so hard for personal sales. When the reality is that the best thing for all of us is for each individual to have success. Um, oh, someone bought my book without knowing it. That's funny. That's cool, Victoria. Yeah, I mean, it's sold in like Petco's and stuff, which is awesome. Just weird. Well, shipping is very variable. For instance, I can ship for like $20 overnight next day morning to neighboring zones, which is East Coast, within a few states, New York City, things like that. But then it can cost $65 for me to ship to like Arizona or Nevada or parts of California or places like that. So if someone, yeah, it's on Amazon. So if someone is, on the left coast, I call it, and they're trying to order from me, and I know of someone who's carrying what they're interested in, I'll often suggest that they go to them because, it's just less time in transit for the fish, cheaper for the consumer, and, more likely to have similar water parameters if it's coming from more local region. So, you know, is what it is. I've never been in this business to get rich. Making money on fish has never really been really my goal. I mean, the whole reason I even started selling fish is because it's the only way I could get the fish I wanted for me. And that's the reason my stock list is only fish that I like, because I'm the one that has to look at them and care for them. And I only want to keep things that I think are cool. But when I was starting out and trying to stock my personal aquariums, I couldn't get the fish I wanted. That online selling wasn't a thing. And stores still don't really carry many nano fish. So in order for me to get them, I had to import them. So, but when you import, you have to get 300 of a species, 600 of a species. So, I would order something like chili rasboras and have to get 600 of them, and I wanted 30. So I would just sell off the rest. And that's very much how my business has always been and always will be. It will only ever be fish that I think are cool. I do occasional, special orders for customers that have been with me for a long time. But, that's what it is. And there's plenty of people that are perfectly capable of selling fish, that I don't feel a need to dominate. Thank you, DJ. Can I get black tiger Dario? Yep, I've worked with them a lot. They're great fish. I actually like them better than Dario. Dario, they're easier to feed, easier to find females too. Gorgeous little fish. Fantastic fish, in fact. But again, I don't know when I'll be able to get more fish in. I've got to be able to carry boxes and unpack boxes. My kids are in school during the day and my husband's at work. Soleaceae W01s. Those are fantastic fish. More videos with me and Joey. Oh shoot, I forgot to plug my phone in. Hold on one second, guys. We're at 4%. More videos with Joey. I sure hope so. I love working with Joey. I think he has a lot of integrity. He's a wealth of knowledge. He doesn't pretend to be anything other than he is. So, and he's a really great friend to me. You know, personally speaking, we're really good friends. So you always want to support the people that support you. Florida flagfish. I haven't worked with them, but I really want to. They're awesome algae eaters. Will I be selling pygmy cories at some point? I mean, they're a fish I really love. For all I know, they could be breeding in their tank right now. What are my thoughts on live feeding fish to other fish? I don't like to do that. I find it to be unnecessary. Um, for the most part, either frozen, dried, or live foods like worms are perfectly appropriate. And I don't find that feeding live fish to other fish does really have any benefit over feeding other foods. It just seems unnecessarily cruel. I have had to do it a few times, specifically when I had very young gar that were very thin and I needed to put some weight on in order to pellet train them. But otherwise, I find it to be totally unnecessary. Um, so, yeah, that's my thought on that. More invertebrate videos. I can try, Victoria. I have a lot of shrimp in the basement. Actually, I moved a bunch of shrimp out to the greenhouse. Try signing up for Amazon Associates. I should. Um, they hit me up and they gave me some sort of page, but then you have to affiliate page or something. It's just too much work. It was one more thing for me to do. And when I'm not recovering from knee surgery, finding even an extra 5 minutes a day just isn't going to happen. So I didn't really follow through with it. And they sent me some sort of weird email saying that they were going to cancel my affiliate page. I was like, all right, I don't care. Do my cats trying to get in my betta tank? They don't. I got my cats a cat fountain, which is on the floor beside the betta tank, like beside the stand that the betta tank is on. And ever since I got my cats a cat fountain, they have not gone into an aquarium. So it's been really, really, really useful. I think what they liked the most about getting on top of the aquarium was the moving water. So by giving them the fountain with the moving water, all three of the cats, not only are they drinking a lot more, which is really good for their urinary health, but they leave my tanks alone. So I'm sure your mileage would vary with that, but for my particular cats, it's worked like a charm. My cats have been keeping company. Pepper Elizabeth, my little tabby cat, she's ignoring me today. I don't know why, but generally she sleeps right on my hip here, pretty much 24/7. Has my cat killed any of my fish? No. Yeah, I have an older cat. I guess he's maybe 13 years old now, and I had never seen him drink ever, like ever. And since we got the fountain, he is constantly in there, and it's really nice to see. Now the little black kitten, which is my daughter's cat, Mabel, likes to sit and stare down Sid Vicious, um, but she's never like done anything bad. Can get help on Thai Orando wind growth. Fancy goldfish are just not in my wheelhouse. I wish I could offer a suggestion to you, but I just can't. I don't even know who's good at that stuff. Um, so sorry. Someone was asking earlier what I watch on Netflix. When you're I'm not real into TV. Like I have it on a lot for like background sound just so it's not just me sitting here in the quiet. Um, but I don't really have anything I'm particularly attached to. I was watching that 70s show actually. I started it from season 1 because that's probably the last time I watched TV was when that was coming out regularly. And I don't know, I find the mom in that show super funny. So, it made for good background noise. Plus, I'd already seen most of them, so I could like doze off and come back into it and know what was happening. Um, Zebra nearite keeps running away from my betta tank. Um, that's peculiar. Is there a fish that I've always wanted to keep but haven't yet? There's quite a lot of fish I've always wanted to keep. Um, from things like lungfish and stingrays to stuff like exodons to fish like, oh, my brain. There's some Africans I'd really like to keep. There's a bunch of catfish I'd really like to keep. You know, I don't think I'll ever run out of fish that I want to keep. What do I think about betta fish? I like betta fish. I have one. I particularly like wild bettas. That's funny, Joey. I mean, it's a good show to watch when you don't need to like really pay attention. It's funny. It's irreverent, you know, good characters. Um, the new Lost in Space. I've never even seen the old Lost in Space. I just, you know, I'm really bummed that I can't get to the movie theater. I would love to see the Avengers movie, and I would love to see the new Deadpool movie. I love superhero movies, and I'm so bummed that both of those came out while I can't get to the movie theater. Uh, that sucks. Avengers actually came out the weekend I was away with my daughter for her dive meet, and then I had surgery 2 days later. So I have to miss probably the only two movies I would want to see all year. I have to miss. So that's kind of annoying. Incredibles 2 in June. Well, that's good to know. I might be able to get to that one. Yeah, I'm not really into Star Wars, so I haven't even seen any of the new ones. I saw the original trilogy in the drive-in, but I don't have a Fire Stick. I have Chromecast, I think it's called. Um, so I mean, I cast YouTube to the TV in my room, and I do cast from like Amazon Prime, and I cast from Netflix and Hulu. You know, so I've been watching a bunch of stuff. I'm just not particularly um, attached to anything. What happened to me? I had my knee replaced. Nothing particularly exciting. Total knee replacement. You know, the best part of getting a total knee replacement when you're my age is that everyone calls you young, and I've been feeling old because I'm going to be turning 40 soon. I'm like, man, I'm young. So it's great. Have to ask any opinions on 13 Reasons Why. I have very mixed feelings on that. I think that dialogue about suicide and mental health really needs to be improved, but I think that that particular show tends to glamorize parts of it, and I don't know that the discussion it's evoking is particularly useful. My daughter does a lot of work in mental health outreach, specifically with suicide prevention, and it's not a very much appreciated series in that realm of people. Thank you, IFG. Um, so, you know, I did watch the first season. I read the book. I think the book was way better. But I can't say that I'm a fan, and I haven't watched the second season. I tend to put my money where my mouth is, and if it's not something that I fully support, then I don't give it my backing, so I'm not going to watch it. Out of respect mainly for my daughter, though curiosity does have me wanting to see what they did. But we'll see. 36 and need a replacement. No one will touch it because of nerve damage. That was me. I waited from the time I was about 18 until I was 39 to get my knee replacement. Nobody would touch mine either because of scar tissue, arthritic changes, compromised blood flow, and nerve damage. So I get it. It sucks. But once, you know, it gets to the point that it's so badly bone on bone, they give in and give you the replacement. Um, was there a cause for me needing it? I was a really significant athlete when I was a teenager and into my early 20s, and did a lot of damage and had some experimental surgeries, which turns out were a really bad idea. Um, And then I had a rebuild and ACL repair about 10 years ago. And basically have been bone on bone since then. And I just basically, I had to wait until I was old enough for them to replace my knee. So I'm both old and young now, according to the knee world. Old enough for a knee replacement, but young for it. So, yeah. Wear and tear and being a gym class hero took it out of my knee. Thank you, Betsy. What fish could you put in a 5 gallon as tank mates for a betta? Oh, gosh. That's a tough one. You know, if you could upgrade to a 10, you'd have a lot more options. In a 5, you're going to have a hard time being able to add enough of anything that he wouldn't be able to pick on individual fish. Thank you, Vivian. Um, you know, 5 gallons are really challenging because they look empty with just a betta in there, and you think that you can put in, I mean, physically looking at them and how the fish behave, you can cram a bunch more in there. You know, you can fit a half dozen to 8 of a small fish. But the problem you run into is with the stability of the aquarium. It's much more difficult to keep a 5 gallon parameters really stable. I mean, you might be able to get away with something like some of the Boraris, like the little chili rasboras. They're nice and tiny, and being able to fit 6 to 8 of them will not rock the bioload as badly. And they don't have flowing fins. But I have a feeling if your bettas, you know, on the more aggressive side, they're probably just going to hide, which negates the purpose of adding more fish. I don't think Odos do well in a small aquarium. Mystery snails can be all right, but the problem is if it's an aggressive betta, it's going to nip at its antenna. And, you know, while the antenna will grow back, if the mystery snail is getting harassed at all, it can cause them to not feed properly and they can actually end up starving to death. Hey, Justin. Do I still plan to do a betta sorority? Maybe. You know, that, the whole nightmare, just sort of put it on the back burner and then I moved on. I can't believe it's been over an hour already. I'd like to say I have to get back to work, but we all know that's not true. So I can give you a few more minutes. I do have to figure out what I'm going to wear to this fancy thing for my daughter tonight. Do sparkling gourami have to be in a pair or more in 10 gallons? Or can one do okay in something as small as a 5 gallon? Sparkling gouramis are teeny. You can easily keep them in a 5 gallon. They don't need to be in pairs. They can be kept in groups. They're very difficult to sex, so good luck getting a pair anyway. I saw some question up here. Hold on one second. Oh, I lost it. What tank size for Odos? I wouldn't keep them in smaller than a 20 long. Is it true plecos suck off slime coat? Depends on the species of pleco. I mean, that's like saying all dogs bite. You know, there's lots of different breeds. So, how loud do sparkling gourami get? They make noise. Yeah, they do have the ability to croak, but it's not very loud. It's pretty quiet. You have to listen for it. It kind of reminds me of like a real low cricket chirp. But in the 90s here, is that too hot for CPD to be an outside tub? If it's in direct sun, probably. If you have it aerated and it's shaded, probably not. The water temperature probably won't get that high because I'm sure I think it's most likely that your overnight temperatures are not in the 90s. So you got to remember, like, the actual temperature of the tub is a balance between those overnight temperatures and your daytime highs. So if you can keep it shaded and aerated, that goes a long way to keeping that temperature less high and to keep the oxygen content high enough so that those temperatures are not as limiting. And you can shade it as well with marginal plants, plants that grow out of the water. You can attach them to the edge of your bins. You know, I drilled holes in the sides of mine and then zip tied. You can place an umbrella, or you can simply move it to a place in your yard that has less direct sun. What's an easy shrimp to take care of in a 10-gallon? Cherry shrimp. I actually don't think ghost shrimp are super easy. They can be pretty challenging because of the way they're handled in from overseas. Did I do anything with my Daphne outside? No, they just grow. They just grow, eat the algae and the microorganisms. Um, what tank size for Corys? Depends on how many and what kind. Thank you, Nick, from the Netherlands. It's a place I'd like to visit someday. I have some good friends there, so it'll probably happen. Do I play a musical instrument? No. I always thought I'd make an awesome frontman for a punk band, but never did it. Plus, I can't sing, but that's not that important in a punk band. Any CPD babies out there yet? I have no idea. I have no idea. Well, it has been an hour and 5 minutes. I should probably ice my knee and not do anything fun. Appreciate all you guys coming out to see me. I super appreciate all those super chats. That was really incredible and very surprising. So thank you guys for that. And today is what, Thursday? I hope on Sunday that I will have an update on either the bog or the succulent garden. If you haven't already, go to my community tab and vote on which one you like better, or onto my Instagram story and let me know there which you would like to see the update on first. Whichever one gets the most votes is the one I'm going to feature first. Thank you, Xella TV, Alex. But thanks for joining me, and we'll be sure to do this again next week as well. Maybe next Friday with my husband. We'll see. I'll talk to him about it. But otherwise, I'll talk to you guys soon.